Hi there, I'm Nathan Agan. Welcome to the Working Actors Journey Rehearsal Room. We started this project in June 2020. It came out of what we could do with all that time during the pandemic. We found that having the time to deeply explore just one, or in this series, two scenes over a month has really excited everybody involved. For those familiar with John Barton's Playing Shakespeare series that the RSC did, I see this as that was definitely an inspiration. I see this as kind of a springboard off of that. However, we are totally unscripted. It's a wonderful way to see the creative process in real time. And for those who are new here, we are working on a couple scenes from Twelfth Night, Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, Viola and Olivia. And what you're going to see through the weeks is not meant to be finished or final. This is just the first stage in the work in progress. Obviously, the next step might be getting it up on its feet, and things could change and dramatically change even at that point. But right now, it's really focusing on the text and what's going on in the scenes and how are people understanding and interrelating. It is what I love about this space is it's an opportunity for artists of different generations and backgrounds to collaborate, learn from one another, and to continue the lineage of honing this craft by actually doing the work. And the rehearsal room, if I can wax philosophic just for a moment, I think continues the great theatrical history of apprenticeship, where newer and younger artists get to see up close how the professionals work even after 30 plus years. Whether it is the people in the room here, whether those watching, you can learn the questions to ask, how to explore text, how to communicate your ideas, how to take direction. And one of the things that has been fantastic is this has never been a top-down structure. There is never just one person who has all the answers and all the ideas. Great stuff comes from all angles, and I love that everybody has been so welcoming of that dynamic. We can also, with one of the actors that you'll see participating, explore casting in a different way, being more conscious to gender, age, or race than theaters sometimes feel they can be. So we've had actors who have thought parts have passed them by years ago get the chance to work on this stuff. And if you check out some of our other sessions, and I'm sure this one will be just in line with that, it's so amazing what an actor can bring, after 50 plus years of life experience to a character that might be 15 or 20. It's just hilarious. And we will continue posting these weekly sessions on YouTube for everybody to enjoy. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and click for notifications. You can support the project through one-time donations. There'll be links below, or you can join via Patreon and get early access to sessions and ad-free version of the podcast starting for just $5 a month. Thank you to some of our patrons, Joan, Michele, Jim, Magdalen, Ivar, Claudia, Clif, and Jeff. And we'll do a quick round of introductions. I'll kick it off just so everybody in the room knows who I am, and for those watching at home. So my name's Nathan, as I said. I live in very Northern California. I do audiobook work, which is the reason for this, and I've been producing these sessions for the last 5 years. Did some podcast interviews prior to that, and yeah, just love working on this stuff. It takes up a lot of my time, but I enjoy it. And I've never been in Twelfth Night. We've done it in various incarnations in here, so I always love learning new things about the play and these scenes. But that's me. I will turn it over to our director Edgar, and we'll go from there.
Hi, thank you, Nathan. My name is Edgar Lambda. I'll be leading this exploration over the next few sessions. I am primarily a director and a fight choreographer, uh, and I sometimes still make it on stage. And I currently teach at USC. I'll just say a couple of quick things. My background in Shakespeare is really based in Kristen Linklater's and Tina Packer's work. I'm also really interested in how we make this work relevant to a modern audience. So I'm not a purist by any stretch of the imagination. I cut plays, I change words. I try to keep, the structure of the verse as much as possible when I make those little tweaks, but we just don't live in an age where some of these references make any sense to a modern audience, and we have to help them along. Otherwise, we're just playing to our own egos, I think, about saying every word in these plays, and we just can't do that. So that's my approach, and I'm all about, playing with casting, as I may mention throughout this process, some of the choices I've made in past productions I've directed. So happy to be here.
Excellent. Miranda, do you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Miranda. Yes, that's my real name, Miranda Johnson Haddad. I'm the resident dramaturg at A Noise Within here in Pasadena and the guest dramaturg at various other theaters. I work on all plays, but I come into dramaturgy via academia, where my field is Shakespeare, and particularly I focus on Shakespeare in performance. Edgar, I'm right there with you. The plays need to be massaged. Sometimes they need to be cut. We need to make them feel vital and important and accessible to audiences today. And I'm obviously not an actor, but I will say back in the late 80s when I was teaching at Vassar College outside of New York, every year the faculty, the English department faculty, would do a faculty reading of a Shakespeare play performance, really. And the first year I was there, we did 12th Night, and I played Viola. So that's my connection to the that's which satisfied my ego, to use your word, and my hammy side. So very happy to be here. This is, I think, maybe my fifth time doing a Zoom for the Working Actors Journey, and I'm always just find it so exciting, and it's so enlightening to see what theater makers bring to the play. And I'm here just to provide information. That's how I see my role. Thanks.
Excellent. Yeah, great to have you back, Miranda. And Shelby,
As soon as it was my turn, a plane went overhead, which is so typical.
can't hear it all.
Oh, good, good. So my name's Shelby Lewis. I am a working actor in Los Angeles, and I'm also a teaching artist and a director, and just starting to go into filmmaking to give myself my own opportunities. But mostly I've directed theater, and I've never been in 12th Night, but I did a scene from it my senior year of high school. I went to Performing Arts High School at Interlochen Arts Academy. And senior year in Shakespeare class, Viola was the dream role, and I was so grateful to be able to do the scenes that we're working on, which is exciting. And so when Edgar approached me about this, I asked if I could try Olivia because but I've still never been in this production. I've done quite a few breeches roles, such as Rosalind in As You Like It, and there's something so powerful about a woman dressing as a man, usually for safety, and then what allows, I just think the gender conversation in our current time is so exciting. And so these plays with these breeches roles remain so relevant and on the pulse, and there's so much to explore. And so I have a YouTube channel called Shelby Loves Shakespeare, which is my COVID baby. What I didn't know, if we'd ever get back on stage, where I just would do this kind of work, talking about speeches and scenes, and mainly to help kiddos preparing college audition monologues. And the more, it's just so lovely to be able to do it with other people because usually it's just me in my room. So I thank you so much for having me here. And anytime I get to touch Shakespeare, it's a good day.
Excellent. Welcome. And yes, it's always fun to meet somebody else that wasn't only baking sourdough during the COVID. They actually percolated new ideas, and they're like, "Wait, I can do some." God bless all the sourdough. It was a great time.
We're
But
baking Shakespeare.
yes, exactly. And then Edgar and Shelby, you two worked together on stage, or what was your connection?
No, we have not worked together. We met. I was doing Shakespeare in a bar, one of those,
Sure.
they give you like, a cut 30-minute version of a play, of the Shakespeare play. And this particular group does Shakespeare in a bar, but there's a costume theme. And this we did Julius Caesar monster style. So
Oh,
that
okay.
meant to us. So I was dressed as the Invisible Man, playing, I can't remember who. And Shelby approached me at the bar and said, "I loved your costume. I don't know who you are. I can't see your face." Because I had all the raps. I did,
Oh, nice.
Invisible Man with all the raps. And that's how we
Lovely.
met. And then we were both Shakespeare nerds.
Lovely commitment. That was great. Okay, cool. Well, I will disappear. I will check in with Angie. Hopefully, there's just like a simple tech thing that is preventing her from getting here, but she'll be the other actor. And yeah, I will check in towards the end. But I hope you guys have a great session.
Great. Thank you. All right. Um, So this is an interesting format. What I'd love to do, both to maybe give Angie some time to join us, but also in general, what I'd like to tend to do when I'm working is to uh, read the scene and then kind of talk about it, some background information, questions we have about words or meaning. But I'd love to kind of give you, Miranda, an opportunity to give us a little background on the meaning of Twelfth Night and how that maybe impacts our storytelling. I have some thoughts and ideas about it. And so I'm interested to hear if you have anything to share.
Sure, thank you. Definitely. Well, for those watching, Twelfth Night is one of what we consider to be Shakespeare's mature comedies, written probably around 1600. So he was very much in his groove by that point in terms of the work. The Twelfth Night in the title, it's Twelfth Night or What You Will. Of course, it has a wonderful sort of
Yeah.
suggestive subtitle, which I find just going back to what Shelby was saying about gender issues in the play, I just find it increasingly fascinating, especially these days. Twelfth Night refers to January 6th, which had an earlier meaning than it does now, but yeah, it is. It is the feast of the Epiphany of the Three Kings. It's the 12th day of Christmas, of the Christmas celebration here in Los Angeles. I always like to mention that many Hispanic families, many Armenian families, really celebrate Christmas on that day, on January 6th. That's really the day when children get their gifts and participate in traditions that we tend to, those of us who don't celebrate in that way, tend to focus on happening on the 25th of December. And in particular, the 12th night harkens back to an even older tradition of Saturnalia in ancient Rome. And this was sort of a licensed the world turns upside down. So, for example, we believe that often servants would dress up like their masters, and then the masters would dress like the servants, and there would be this switch that would happen, a kind of a, as I say, sort of a licensed change in social status and social hierarchy. And I also think that those themes are very, very much present in Twelfth Night, and the whole question of Malvolio is he is social climbing, and he's aiming above his station, and this is something that I think Shakespeare's audience also would have understood as not being acceptable. It's all well and good to have a set time of topsy turviness and rules go out the window, but it's limited, and Malvolio doesn't see those limits. So I think there's that going on, and all the scenes sort of below stairs with Sir Toby and Sir Andrew and Maria. Um, and then just again in terms of the gender issues, we know, of course, that both Viola and Olivia would have been played by boys, by young men in Shakespeare's time. So you have a boy playing Viola who then disguises herself as Cesario, and then you would have a boy also playing Olivia. So I think the sort of open ended nature of that, the gender fluidity. Of the play, as we now can begin to think about it and understand it, is just makes it extremely timely, and it's really one of my very very favorite plays. The music is wonderful, the language is wonderful, and the themes, as many of Shakespeare's comic heroines do. Viola teaches Orsino how to love. She teaches him about love, and that's very wonderful. I also have to just give a shout out to the 2011 Mark Rylance version of Twelfth Night, in which he played Olivia just marvelously.
I saw that.
Yeah, did you see it actually
Yeah.
in the theater? I've only
I
seen
saw it
the
here at Royce Hall in LA.
you saw that one? Yeah, I've only seen a film of it, but it's just marvelous. And it's
Yeah.
Stephen Fry as Malvolio, very very wonderful idea. So I'm really looking forward to just sort of exploring these themes and others that come up, and often what happens in the working actor's journey is actors will switch off. So one day at one point, Shelby, you would be reading Olivia. When Angie's able to join us, she would be reading Viola. Then you switch, and just so what comes out there, and the whole notion of switching, switching roles, and the fluidity, I think, really makes this format very, very welcoming to the themes of Twelfth Night. So really happy to be here.
Great, thank you. I just want to add a few things to some of the things you've said, which I think are useful. I know you mentioned January 6th as the 12th night, but I think there's also, my understanding is it could also be January 5th, depending on how you count from Christmas, right?
Yes, that's certainly true, and the Elizabethan calendar was a little more variable than in some ways
Yeah,
than ours.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, on top of like kind of the upheaval of the status of of your station in life, it was also a time drinking and revelry and practical joking of sex and food, and which are all things that we see in this play, particularly with the clown characters with Aguecheek and Belch and Festi. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and Mariah too. I think, as we were
Yes.
saying, yes, yes, absolutely. It's very, very festive and woo, celebratory.
Yeah. And then just another point. I love this kind of conversation. Then we'll kind of get into some of the scene stuff. As I mentioned in my introduction, I'm not a traditionalist, whatever, in the sense of Elizabethan costuming and, having to say every word in the play. There are sometimes exceptions when I think something is so outstanding that it actually elevates the play. And the Mark Rylance production of with the company Cheek by Jowl, where men played all the roles, I think is an example of something where it's done in that Elizabethan costuming in I think at least the way I saw it was in the Blackfriars configuration, I believe. And it just elevated the entire play to something I'd never seen before. Hi, Angie.
I
Welcome.
technology. Anyway, I'm here.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Do you we can have, do you want to give a quick introduction about who you are for our audience out in YouTube land?
Sure. My name is Bird. I've been working in the theater for forever. Done this the role that I'm reading now, which is absurd but fun. I've done the other role, Olivia, 4 times, but I've never gotten to do Viola, and I always thought that was my role, actually, but there you are. So
Excellent.
I'm delighted that you're giving me the chance to play with it.
Thank you. Great. We've just been doing a little bit of dramaturgical kind of background on the piece and the meaning of Twelfth Night. So feel free to jump in at any point, any of you with any additional comments or thoughts about the piece. Miranda, for our audience who is maybe not familiar with Twelfth Night, can you give us a quick synopsis of the play?
Absolutely, much easier than doing the synopsis of Richard III that I'm
Yeah.
struggling with currently, as I mentioned earlier. It helps that people have different names. So yes, at the beginning of the play, we are at the court of a nobleman named Orsino, who is pining away for love of a woman named Olivia. Um, they live in Illyria, and Illyria is one of these places that I think of as one of Shakespeare's other worlds. It's
Mhm.
like the forest outside of Athens, like Belmont. It's a different space geographically. It's also a different space psychologically, and you really see the culmination of that, in my opinion, in the Tempest. So all this is happening on Illyria, and there has been a shipwreck recently, and two young people who are traveling from Messina, brother and sister, Viola and Sebastian, are separated. And during the shipwreck, the ship breaks apart and they wash ashore in different places. Viola is trying to figure out what to do as a young woman on her own without her father. Her father is dead. Her brother, as she believes, is dead. And the ship's captain comes up with a really wacko idea, or I should say, Viola comes up with a wacko idea. She's going to disguise herself as a page, go by the name of Cesario, and present herself to the court of Orsino, who hires her right away. He's very impressed with her, and he begins to send her to Olivia to beg Olivia to agree to marry, to love him, and to agree to marry him. Well, Olivia does fall in love, but not with Orsino. She falls in love with Cesario, as she thinks it. And the hilarity ensues, and mistaken identities and everything else. We see the other, I think, main plot line involves the other people in Olivia's household, including her servants, her relatives, and in particular her steward Malvolio, who is tricked into thinking that Olivia is in love with him, and he it comes to a very, in some productions, very painful comeuppance for having aspired to do this. Like any good Shakespearean comedy, it ends with three weddings, three marriages, and uh, Cesario Viola has fallen in love with Orsino. He with her. Then there's all kinds of things going on there that we can talk about and discuss. But that's the quick summary of what happens. Oh, and then Feste goes back and forth between the households and sings. And of course, we think that the great actor in Shakespeare's company, Robert Armin, had joined the company by then, which is why we begin to see um, fools or clowns who are much more nuanced than before. In this, and just what you were saying, Edgar, in this play, it's really Andrew Aguecheek who is the clown, who is the buffoon,
Yeah.
not Feste, who is just a wonderful, wonderful being. And speaking of fluidity, who goes through all the different environments in this Illyria. Oh, and Sebastian, it turns out, wasn't drowned. He washes
Right.
ashore, and everybody is reunited, more or less happily, at the end.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tell
And
me what
that
I missed.
no, I just you said the three weddings. That third one is Toby Belch and Mariah, who
Hmm.
we don't see, we just hear about it at the end of the play. Thank you so much for that. Um, what I think what I would love to do, we're going to be tackling for the folks out in YouTube land. We're going to be looking at the two Olivia Viola scenes. The first one is when they first meet after Orsino has sent Cesario slash Viola to court Olivia on his behalf. And so she shows up at the again. She's been explicitly told to not leave and to make sure that you get in and be seen. And so she makes a nuisance of herself at the gate, and Olivia agrees to see Cesario slash Viola. That's the first Olivia Viola scene, and then the second one is she is sent back to woo once again on behalf of Orsino, and by this time Cesario has. Or Viola has fallen in love with Orsino after being serving him for 3 days. It happens very fast. Um, so what I'd love to do is to read through these two scenes. I have some thoughts of why specifically, obviously for some background information on Twelfth Night and what Twelfth Night means, but I have some thoughts about how that actually might inform the play and these scenes and these characters. You know, I'm really interested in all the kind of the historical information that we get, all the academic information, but ultimately for me, it has to be useful as an acting tool. Otherwise, I'm not sure, that it's useful, right? We can have all the, the information, but it's useful only if we can act on it, if we can somehow use it as an acting tool. Did we lose Angie? We may have lost her.
No.
we we have your
No,
we have
you haven't
your
lost.
audio.
You have not lost me.
Okay, there you
There
are.
you are.
I'm flustered by all this technology problem, so I had to go get my script.
Got it.
So, yes.
Okay. So, so why don't we take a crack at this, the first scene, which is Act 1, Scene 5, what's commonly, I think, known as the first Olivia Viola scene. And let's just take a read at it. For our audiences out there, we're reading, and I'll tell you where we're going to start in a sec. We're reading uncut versions of these scenes and working on the uncut versions. Typically, when I work, I will cut scenes and I will cut, the entire play down. I have worked on this play before, and in this scene, I don't think I actually cut anything. I may have changed a few words for clarity, but I don't believe I cut anything once the Olivia and Viola were in the scene together. So
So we're only going to read from after the other ladies are gone.
yes, no, let's read from "Give Me My Veil, Throw It Over My Face."
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
great. Oh,
And I know, yes,
wonderful.
and I know Mariah has a scene, a line, and I can read it and I can read that line. And are
Okay.
we all using the Folger just so I can reference line numbers, or do we have different versions of it?
I'm using the Folger.
I don't know. Give Me My Veil is 130 in
Okay, but
150.
you have a different version. That's okay.
Okay.
That's great. Um, great.
I have the Folgers, but this print is too small.
That's okay. Well, it's fine. So, and for those folks out there in YouTube land, I'll just say a little bit about, the different editions of these plays are just editors and how they line number. Sometimes there are differences in a word or whether it goes from verse to prose. Those are editorial decisions. Whether, and sometimes it's based on the a quarto or the folio, and that's all kind of academic ultimately. Some of that stuff is kind of useful for us as actors to refer back to the folio and see what we imagine is probably the closest to what Shakespeare may have written and how he laid it actually on the page. But we have to remember that it was two other guys who actually did that after Shakespeare's death, based on multiple sources. So when we say that, why do you change it, or is this what Shakespeare wrote, or that isn't what Shakespeare wrote, is we don't know what Shakespeare actually wrote because we only have a version of it put together by people other than Shakespeare, from file papers, from memory, from scraps, right? So, which is again why we can do these plays over and over again, rearrange scenes, cut lines, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, that's my little soapbox. So we'll read it from Give Me My Veil, please. And unless you have questions, whenever you're ready.
You ready, Anne?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Give me my veil. Come, throw it on my face. We'll once more hear Orsino's embassy.
The honorable lady of the house, which is she?
Speak to me. I shall answer for her. Your will?
Most radiant, exquisite, and unmatchable beauty. Pray, tell me if this be the lady of the house, for I never saw her. I would be loath to cast away my speech, for that. For besides that, it is excellently well penned. I've taken great pains to con it. Good beauties. Let me sustain no scorn. I am very comfortable even to the least sinister usage.
Whence came you, sir?
I can say little more than I have studied, and that question is out of my part. Good gentle one, Give me modest assurance that you be the lady of the house, that I may proceed with my speech.
Are you a comedian?
No, my profound heart. And yet by the very fangs of malice, I swear I am not that I play. Are you the lady of the house?
If I do not usurp myself, I am.
Well, certain if you are she, you do usurp yourself, for what is yours to bestow is not yours to withhold. But this is from my commission. I will on with my speech in your praise and then show you the heart of my message.
Come to what is important, I forgive you the praise.
Mariah says something there.
You have a different cut of it. Okay.
Oh, shit. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Alas, I took great pains to study it, and 'tis poetical.
It is the more like to be feigned. I pray you, keep it in. I heard you were saucy at my gates, and allowed your approach rather to wonder at you than to hear you. If you be not mad, be gone. If you have reason, be brief. 'Tis not that time of moon with me to make one in so skipping a dialogue.
Will you hoist sail, sir? Here lies your way.
Yeah, no, good swabber, I am to hull here a little longer. Some mollification for your giant, sweet lady.
Tell me your mind.
Yeah, I am a messenger.
Sure, you have some hideous matter to deliver when the courtesy of it is so fearful. Speak your office.
It alone concerns your ear. I bring no overture of war, no taxation of homage. I hold the olive in my hand. My words are as full of peace as matter.
Yet you began rudely. What are you? What would you?
The rudeness that hath appeared in me have I learned from my entertainment. What I am and what I would are a secret as maidenhead. To your ears, divinity; to any others, profanation.
Give us the place alone. We will hear this divinity. Now, sir, what is your text?
Most sweet lady,
A comfortable doctrine, and much may be said of it. Where lies your text?
in Orsino's bosom.
In his bosom. In what chapter of his bosom?
To answer by the method, in the first of his heart.
Oh, I have read it. It is heresy. Have you no more to say?
Good madam, let me see your face.
Have you any commission from your lord to negotiate with my face? You are now out of your text. But we will draw the curtain and show you the picture. Look you, sir, such a one I was this present. Is not well done?
Excellently done. If God did all.
'Tis in grain, sir. 'Twill endure wind and weather.
'Tis beauty, truly blent, whose red and white nature's own sweet and cunning hand laid on. Lady, you are the cruelest she alive, if you would lead these graces to the grave and leave the world no copy.
Oh, sir, I will not be so hard-hearted. I will give out divers schedules of my beauty. It shall be inventoried, and every particle and utensil labeled to my will as item, 2 lips indifferent red, item, 2 gray eyes with lids to them, item, 1 neck, 1 chin, and so forth. Were you sent hither to praise me?
I see you what you are too proud. But if you were the devil, you are fair. My lord and master loves you. Oh, such love could be but recompense, though you were crowned the nonpareil of beauty.
How does he love me?
with adoration, fertile tears, with groans that thunder love with sighs of fire.
Your lord does know my mind. I cannot love him. Yet I suppose him virtuous, know him noble, of great estate, of fresh and stainless youth, in voices well divulged, free, learned, and valiant, and in dimension and the shape of nature, a gracious person, but yet I cannot love him. He might have took his answer long ago.
If I did love you in my master's flame with such a suffering, such a deadly life, in your denial I would find no sense. I would not understand it.
Why? What would you?
Oh, make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house. Write loyal cantons of contemned love and sing them loud, even in the dead of night. Hallow your name to the reverberate hills and make the babbling gossip of the air cry out, Olivia! Ah, you should not rest between the elements of air and earth, but you should pity me.
You might do much. What is your parentage?
Above my fortunes, yet my state is well. I'm a gentleman.
Get you to your lord. I cannot love him. Let him send no more, unless, perchance, you come to me again to tell me how he takes it. Fare you well. I thank you for your pains. Spend this for me.
I am no feed post, lady. Keep your purse. My master, not myself, lacks recompense. Love make his heart of flint that you shall love. And let your fervor, like my master's, be placed in contempt. Farewell, fair cruelty.
What is your parentage? Above my fortunes, yet my state is well. I'm a gentleman. I'll be sworn thou art. Oh, thy tongue, thy face, thy limbs, oh, actions and spirit do give thee fivefold blazon. Not so fast. Soft, soft. Unless the master were the man. How now? Even so quickly may one catch the plague? Thinks I feel this youth's perfections with an invisible and subtle stealth to creep in at mine eyes. Well, let it be. What ho, Malvolio?
Here,
Malvolio!
madam, at your service.
I'm so sorry. I am so flummoxed.
No, that's okay.
Mm.
And next time I'll be ready.
No, this is lovely.
Mm.
So first of all, what I always like to begin with is that if there are any questions about meaning or either within a phrase or specific words that we're not clear about, or even story elements that are unclear. Anything for either one of you?
I swear by the fangs of malice. That's like a phrase I found trying to find some reference for where that comes from.
Yeah, give
Someone
me an
had written a whole
approximate line.
book about actors with that title and all kinds of other stuff, but not a real explanation of that.
Yeah, give me an approximate line for that.
Oh, does that come before what we started? I swear by the fangs of malice, I am not that I.
No, that's in our.
Yeah,
That's
oh
in
yes,
our.
I see where you are. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, it's about in the folder. It's line 181.
Okay.
Know my profound heart, and yet by the very fangs of malice, I
Right.
swear I am not that I play. Um, And Miranda, feel free to jump in. I have, from the actor's point of view, where I think this is interesting is, Shakespeare often plays with kind of towing that line between the stage and the fact that we're playing to an audience. And of course, in Shakespeare's day, there were no lights. It was broad daylight, so that veil that is not present. I'm a firm believer that there is no fourth wall in Shakespeare as is kind of the modern sense of the theater has created. We talk directly to the audience. Hamlet isn't out there speaking to himself. Hamlet is out there trying to figure this out with the audience. And this is just a little sidebar that I just want to say about soliloquies. I don't think there are no soliloquies in Shakespeare. They are always in relationship to the audience. And as the actor, what I always like to tell the actor is, what is your relationship to the audience in this moment? What do you want from them? Just the same as you would, what is your relationship to this other character on the stage with you, and what do you want or need from them? I don't think it's any different with the audience, because then it shifts how that monologue or soliloquy right now, for lack of a better word, how that is delivered and the choices that the actor makes based on what their relationship is to the audience in that moment. I want them to validate me. I need them to tell me not to do it. I want them to join my army, or whatever the choice might be. I think it makes it a much more dynamic and active piece of text when there is a clear relationship to the audience. So going back to your line, Anne, I think
That
it's one
was a
of
really complicated answer. I was just wanting to know what the actual little phrase.
No, I know, but I sometimes get in my little soapboxes. I think it's about that you are kind of you are
I
tricking her.
know what the intent of the
Yeah.
line is. I'm just wondered about that little phrase. I've never run into it anywhere else.
Yeah, Miranda.
Things
Yeah,
of
it's very odd, but it's interesting. I've got the Riverside here, which for those watching at home is sort of the ultimate scholarly edition. It tells you
Right.
more than really probably most of us really need to know. I've also got the Bevington, and
No,
neither of those has a gloss for that
I know. I
phrase.
checked
So
them.
yeah. So I think it's really it is unusual in Shakespeare, certainly probably unique as I think about it, which just means you get to make it whatever
Yeah,
you think it is.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
fangs are sharp and malice is sharp. And I
Yeah,
think there's that
yeah.
meaning. And you're stepping out telling the audience. I think it's a line for the
Oh,
audience.
it's certainly for them to get the
Yeah.
fun of
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
watching me fool her. Yes.
Yeah. Any other ones?
No, it's pretty clear.
Yeah. Um, Miranda, at the top of the play, we learned that Olivia has been in mourning for a year at this point, after her father has died and then her brother, and that she's going to be in mourning for 6 more, right? Um, so this really interests me in terms of where she is on the journey, and she's denying men, right, from coming to court her. Aguchick is there at the house, at the court. But is she ready to break out, is my question that I always ask. She's self-imposed this, but is she ready to, like? And Cesario shows up, and he's a good-looking fella, and here's an excuse to, like, to drop that facade. And I do think it's a facade, but that's just me. Any
It,
thoughts on
it
that?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I have to say, Shelby and Angie, I really liked what you both were doing. And Shelby, I believed your Olivia was just sort of soft. Wait, where's this coming from? And Edgar, I love what you just said too, because maybe it is a facade, as you say. It's not really where she's at genuinely in her heart.
Yeah.
And Angie, I know you said you were flummoxed, but I thought it really worked that you sort of start off tentatively, but then you hit your stride with that gorgeous "Make Me a Willow Cabin at Your Gate," and I think it's in that beat that something starts to, the armor falls away from Olivia's heart, whether it's really there or not. Something something falls away. So so yeah, those are just my initial responses. But um, that's interesting, Edgar. You think it's a facade because often it's played straight, you know.
Yeah,
So that's interesting to me.
I just think it's interesting that Aggie Cheek is there, and obviously he's a clown and a buffoon. Um, uh, but for whatever reason, she's a year into it now. That's a long time, right? I think. And so when someone interesting comes along, and I think Cesario is interesting before Olivia even Viola even sees him, perhaps because she hears about what he's doing at the gate, and that's interesting enough for her to allow his admittance, So there's already a curiosity that is, and then he comes in, and then there's this back and forth between them. And I'd like to kind of explore that little back and forth just the top of the scene. Um, just to see if Viola, if you've come in with kind of maybe that attitude, and not necessarily uh I know that she's above you in station, but don't worry about that. Just as an experiment, come in and challenge her. And Olivia, see what happens if you're challenged by it, and that becomes really interesting. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Let's take it. Oh, and just one other thing. This first part of the scene is a public scene. There are other people, in the room, and that's good to know because there's something about making this a public exhibition until they leave. Then it's there's something different. So I just want to acknowledge that this first part of the scene is very public, that Olivia is veiled, and so Viola can't see her face and actually can't determine who's who, perhaps.
Every time I have done it, they have all the other women, and there's usually Viola and someone else,
Yeah,
also put veils on.
yeah,
So
yeah, and I think that's correct. I think, in fact, if the more attendance that Viola has, and they all get veiled, so when Cesario comes in, he thinks, I assume that he may think there's going to be Viola waiting for him, and in fact there are a bunch of other people, and they all look the same because they're all veiled, and you don't know what he looks like, right, Cesario? You're only going based on Orsino's,
Right.
how he's described her to you, which is all about how beautiful she is.
Yeah, and what a bizarre thing to walk into. It
Yes,
depends on where you set your production, but you have
sure.
to deal with why are there veils
Yes.
and why are there so many
Oh, why the
women?
Well,
veils?
they're veiled because she's in mourning.
I know, but we don't have veils today
No, sure, right.
necessarily, unless it's
Oh,
at the funeral. So to me, it's always a moment of that as an audience member, I have to just accept. But I'm interested in what else a veil could be or how a faith. But to think about walking in a current day, and you think you're meeting someone. I mean, think about walking into an office setting or something, and
Mhm.
you're meeting someone. I know it's at her house, but I'm just saying, in a contemporary setting, and you're meeting one person, and it's now 8 people
Yeah,
somehow obscuring their face. I mean, it's straight out of like the Dune series or something.
yeah.
Suddenly, it's so off-putting
Yeah,
because it's
and
so formal.
yeah, and I think that's the initial, like, that moment of walking in and like thinking you're gonna see one thing, and
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
there's all
yeah.
this other thing, and then you go move forward anyways with the formality of trying to read Orsino's words, and then being countered time and time again by Viola, and then
Yeah.
that becomes a little tennis match. So I just want to look at that and really
Okay.
kind of lean into
I
that
don't think she
aspect of
can
it.
be reading the words.
What's that?
I don't think she can be reading the words. She
Uh,
says she learned them.
Yeah, she conned them, she says, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think she's also
It may not that she did. She may not be very good at that.
no, right. And I think Orsino, I think hands her a letter. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. But you did con them, so there is a formal presentation to
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
perhaps of some
It's
sort.
just that nobody can interrupt me, or I'll forget what they are.
Yes, That's right. All right, let's take a crack at it. From Give Me My Veil.
Oh, give me my veil. Come, yeah, throw it over my face. We'll once more hear Orsino's embassy.
Uh, the honorable lady of the house, which is she?
Speak to me. I shall answer for her. Your will?
Most radiant, exquisite, and unmatchable beauty. I pray you tell me if this be the lady of the house, for I never saw her. I would be loath to cast away my speech, for besides that it is excellently well penned, I have taken great pains to con it. Let me sustain no, good beauties, let me sustain no scorn. I'm very comfortable, even to the least sinister usage.
Whence came you, sir?
I can say little more than I've studied, and that question's out of my part. Good gentle one, give me modest assurance if you be the lady of the house, that I may proceed in my speech.
Are you a comedian?
No, my profound heart. And yet, by the very fangs of malice, I swear I am not that I play. Are you the lady of the house?
If I do not usurp myself, I am.
Most certain, if you are she, you do usurp yourself. For what is yours to bestow is not yours to reserve.
Oh,
But this is from my commission. I will on with my speech in your praise, and then I will show you the heart of my message.
come to what is important in it. I forgive you the praise.
Alas, I took great pains to study it, and 'tis poetical.
It is the more like to be faint. I pray you, keep it in. I heard you were saucy at my gates, and allowed your approach rather to wonder at you than to hear you. If you be not mad, be gone. If you have reason, be brief. 'Tis not that time of the moon with me to make one in so skipping a dialogue.
Will you host sail, sir? Here lies your way.
No, good swabber, I am to hull here a little longer. Some mollification for your giant, sweet lady.
Tell me your mind.
I am a messenger.
Sure, you have some hideous matter to deliver when the courtesy of it is so fearful. Speak your office.
It alone concerns your ear. I bring no overture of war, no taxation of homage. I hold the olive in my hand. My words are as full of peace as matter.
Yet you began rudely. What are you? What would you? Hmm?
Yeah.
The rudeness.
Oh yes, the rudeness. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. The rudeness that doth appear in me have I learned from my entertainment. What
Oh,
I am and what I would are as secret as maidenhead. To your ears, divinity; to any others, profanation.
give us the place alone. We will hear this divinity.
Good, let's hold there. Yeah, yeah. So I think there's something there about, when it starts off with this exchange, which then allows because then Cesario, I think, starts to become interesting. You know? Any thoughts on that?
Was there a question in there?
No, yeah. Any thoughts on kind of or comments on what we just did?
Uh, it's fun, isn't it? It's
Yes.
fun. The challenge, the the sense of confrontation is great fun to me.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to jump around a little bit. I love some of these words and the choices that Shakespeare uses, and I just want to throw out a few: embassy, divinity, profanation, and then we hear divinity again. Um, I love, like, where that word embassy, where it comes from. It's so there's a formality to it, but I'm wondering if there's also like that we're poking fun at how Orsino sends his messages of love to you,
Yes.
So if you can play with that word, and then I just want you to just for shits and giggles, I just want to try that line from "Give Me My Veil." We can all stay on it here.
Mm-hmm. Right. Give me my veil. Come, throw it o'er my face. We'll once more hear Orsino's embassy.
Great. And let's even lean in more into that.
Mhm.
And I do really like to, again, I like to play with this because it doesn't mean that's how we're going to eventually play it,
Yeah.
but there might be a really interesting discovery. Again, go with me on this, Shelby.
Yeah.
Think of this just for these few lines, almost like uh, uh, Valley Girl.
Great.
Really kind of lean into the Valley Girlness of it.
Great.
And it starts off with, here's another one who's at the gate and he's been doing all this stuff. So the "give me my veil" is like, fine, I'll let him come in, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he'll entertain me. I'm
Yeah.
so bored. It's been a year.
Give me my veil. Come, throw it o'er my face. We'll once more hear Orsino's embassy.
Right?
I
I
love
do think
that.
I do think as we were reading it through last, I wondered if I was starting to play with her objective to just make her ladies laugh. And the mean girl really
Yes.
works within that too, of just trying to humiliate Cesario and just keep just doing it for them and public humiliation. Like you brought up the idea or the reminder that it's a public exhibition.
Yeah, and I
That's
think there
really
are
fun.
lines that have like little hidden internal directions. Viola says, most radiant, exquisite, and unmatchable beauty, and then she cuts herself off. And that's either it's a self cutoff or something has happened
Yeah.
from the ladies present that cues that, "I pray you tell me if this be the lady of the house," right? And then there's another one: "Good beauties, let me sustain no scorn." So they are doing something to scorn you.
They're a scorning. Yep.
Yeah, to scorn Cesario. And so I think you're right, Shelby. I think there are things that the ladies are doing that makes the urgency of Cesario a bigger urgency, or fighting that you're being made fun of
Mhm.
in this public setting. Yeah, Miranda.
Yeah, and then I love that, and that she's having a laugh at Cesario's expense and the mean girl energy, and of course then Cesario will say goodbye to her. He takes his leave by saying, "Farewell, fair cruelty,"
Mhm.
and sure, superficially, you're being cruel to Orsino, my master, not myself, lacks recompense, and recompense, I heard again for the first time, appears twice in this scene, interestingly, but that cruelty, if there's a subtext of, boy, what a meanie. I love that. I think that really works.
Good.
And it's bold of Shakespeare to show that, because kind of like Phoebe and As You Like It, you only see her at her last explosion, right? Of just, I cannot say no to you anymore. And so people think so much that it's kind of a thin character sometimes with Phoebe, but she tried to do it really, really sweet ways to say no. And so I think there's a parallel with Olivia, that this is, okay, fine, I've started to say it in every other way. So let this be just awful. Like she's just going to let herself be the worst part of herself to get this done.
Yeah. I want to try one other little place for Cesario where it's a little quick exchange with Olivia where there's the playfulness of words, I think and the use of words. This is before we go into the private section of the scene. She says, Viola says, um, what I am and what I would are a secret as Maidenhead.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And I really want to kind of lean into the divinity word, the profanation, and then the divinity, the repetition of divinity that Olivia has, right?
Hmm.
And as an just as a maybe as a point of entry, um, those words, see if you can allow yourself to find where they live in your body, even if it's over the top. That's again, this we're just playing. Really allow to find where the those vowels live in your body, where if the consonants perhaps or whatever it is you choose to highlight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I
Yeah.
haven't given that line enough attention.
Do
Uh,
you want to take it from the rudeness that I
oh
that
yeah, I
I,
have to. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, you know what? Take it from yet you began
Yeah,
rudely.
I guess I have been thinking of that as a ploy, but if then I haven't been playing it as a ploy. That's interesting. Okay. The rudeness,
No,
uh,
sorry, Angie. Let's take it one line before from you began rudely, because
you're
then
right.
we have the
Cool.
repetition of rudely and
Right.
rudeness.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yet you began rudely. What are you? What would you?
The rudeness that hath appeared in me have I learned from my entertainment. What I am and what I would are as secret as a maidenhead. To your ears, divinity, to any other's profanation.
Give us the place alone. We will hear this divinity.
Great. Can we try that again? And again, I really love the idea of how these words sound and the vowels. So rather than going down on that word and swallowing it, Shelby,
Mm-hmm.
allow it to come out.
Okay.
And you can even play the kind of the mean girl aspect of it, right?
Sure.
It's a choice to repeat it. And the choice is
Mm.
maybe to mock it, this divinity from Orsino.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so sincerity on my part would be more useful then.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back.
And you can still like, kind of lean into the sincerity of those words and
Yes.
the vowels in them.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's try it again.
Yet you began rudely. What are you? What would you?
The rudeness that hath appeared in me have I learned
Mm-hmm.
from my entertainment. What I am and what I would are as secret as maidenhead. To your ears, divinity, to any other's profanation.
Give us the place alone. We will hear this divinity. Mm.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah,
and I would probably then like bow or make a sign of the cross
I don't know,
there.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Leaning into.
I think it's really, I really like, how we play sometimes these words. There's the vowels in them I think are really interesting, where we land them. Uh, uh, I think it clues us in on what we think of this embassy, this message from Orsino.
Yeah.
Um,
I do have a question about this
yeah,
moment, Edgar, whenever you're ready.
no, go ahead.
So I wonder why Olivia, like what the moment is, of when she decides that she wants to hear it more. I know her text after this is still kind of in that I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it vein. But when I see these words of secret, maidenhead, right, virginity, immediately sexual,
Hmm.
to your ears, I assume that I'm being whispered to, and then it becomes very intimate. And I feel like that's the first flash of yum yum, that feels really nice. Okay, girls, you can go away. Um, what do you think about that?
That's like the $1 million question of when Olivia begins to make that switch.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer. I have some thoughts of where I think later in the scene, I think it definitely starts to happen. But I think the discovery is how we build that ladder up to the Cesario's hot and interesting, right?
Yeah.
I More than anything, it's his sauciness, I think, that makes him interesting. I think everyone else is good looking or a buffoon that has come to try to woo you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, this guy isn't. He's something different.
Mm.
I think there's something in you began rudely. There's a switch that maybe happens to what are you? What would you? See if there's if you can make that hard transition from, yet you began rudely, coming after him. And then there's a switch to interesting. What are you? Who are
Mm-hmm.
you? Tell me more because you're being so rude. This has never happened.
Mm-hmm.
So see if you can make that really hard transition. Can we just
Mm-hmm.
do that little section again, please?
Yeah. Yeah, you began rudely. What are you? What would you?
The rudeness that hath appeared in me have I learned from my entertainment. What I am and what I would are as secret as a maidenhead to your ears, divinity to any other's profanation.
Well, give us the place alone. We will hear this divinity.
Great. So now again, this is why this becomes so interesting, right? And now I have another thought that is slightly different. What if Viola, in that to your ears divinity, to any of the others profanation, what what happens if you channel Orsino of how he would say this to her?
Okay.
Yeah. And then Shelby, rather than making fun of it, lean into the divinity. Huh.
Great.
We will hear this, right? And see if there's a shift in that.
Yet you began rudely.
Wait,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
gotta think about this because
Yeah.
I agreed to that very quickly, but I don't quite.
One of the
Okay.
four Orsinos you've had?
Yeah.
Pick one.
I think, and what if I give you this direction? You really be there to do the job you've been sent to do on behalf of Orsino.
Okay. Yes, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
Using the vowels in the
Right.
word. Yeah, thank you.
Yet you began rudely. What are you? What would you?
The rudeness that hath appeared in me have I learned from my entertainment. What I am and what I would are as secret as maidenhead. To your ears, divinity. To any others, profanation.
Give us the place alone. We will hear this divinity.
Yeah.
Yeah, something different, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's the leaning in is her making fun in a different way, but not quite
Possibly,
letting it
but
on yet?
possibly, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is
Fun.
interesting. I think I
You were
think you
such
find her interesting enough. Yeah, that was lovely. And I think the when you're there to do the job you've been sent to do gives you a very clear purpose, right?
Yes, that's a great note.
And you're going to do the job to the best of your ability. You're going to act out his message to the best of your ability, and there are obstacles that get thrown in your way. But
Yeah,
if we start with that premise, I think then it starts to open up the way how to play the scene
yeah,
and the role,
yeah.
right?
Interesting. Working against her own interest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you do that, and we see that in the second in the Orsino Viola scene,
Right.
uh, right? We see that he sends her off, and she's talking about herself, right?
Right.
So great. Um, I would like to I want to just touch a little bit on the moment on I want to look at the Willow Cabin speech since it's such an iconic piece of text before we move on to our second scene. Um, and I think this goes back to the idea that Cesario slash Viola is there to do this job to the best of her ability on behalf of Orsino, right?
Oh, this has nothing to do with Orsino.
Well, he said, "What would you do if you were here?" Right?
So she then puts herself in.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. But I think
But this is no part of what his message was.
no, but you've kind of yes, it is you. But I'm just interested if it's still if she asks you a very specific question, what would you do if you
Yeah,
were here,
that's
right?
what an intriguing thought.
Yeah, well, this is what I would do. And I'm just, the question for me is there part of it that is also you doing the best job possible for Orsino if I was here?
I don't, I think for that moment, I don't think Viola, I don't think Orsino's even except as the object of her love. Not, I don't,
Well, because you said
I think this speech, until we get that, you wouldn't be able, I, I think she separates herself from.
yes, but the first question is Olivia says, uh, I cannot love him. He might have took his answer long ago. Viola says, if I did love you in my master's
Yeah,
flame
yeah,
with such as this, right? I would not understand it. What would you do? She says, if you were, I think it's what would you do if you were your master, meaning Orsino?
yeah.
So you are still channeling him and trying to do the best job. Well, this if I was him, this is what I
Oh,
would do.
I'm sorry, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
Let's look at it again. I don't know, because this is totally, she sets her off on a different path. Well, what I do, I wouldn't woo the way he woos at all. This is the way I would do it, and I would woo him like this.
I think we're saying the same thing just in different ways. Let's
Okay.
try let's try your thought.
Okay,
This
okay,
is an opportunity for you to yeah,
okay.
and let's take it please
How does
from
he love me?
um
You
uh
took my answer.
but yet I cannot love him. He might have took his answer long ago.
Could we do it a little earlier at how
Yeah,
does he love me?
yeah, sure. To build,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you see that, Anne? Just a couple
Yep.
above. Okay. How does he love me?
Uh, with adorations, fertile tears, with groans that thunder love, with sighs of fire.
Your Lord does know my mind. I cannot love him. Yet I suppose him virtuous, know him noble, of great estate, of fresh and stainless youth, and voices well divulged, free, learned, and valiant, and in dimension and shape of nature a gracious person, but yet I cannot love him. He might have took his answer long ago.
If I did love you as in my master's flame, with such suffering, such a deadly life. In your denial, I would find no sense. I would not understand it.
Why? What would you?
Huh. Make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house. Write loyal cantons of contemned love and sing them loud, even in the dead of night. Hallow your name to the reverberate hills and make the babbling gossip of the air cry out, Olivia! Oh, you should not rest between the elements of air and earth, but you should pity me.
You might do much. What is your parentage?
Above my fortunes, yet my state as well. I'm a gentleman.
Get you to your lord.
Okay, let's hold there. That was lovely. I think in my direction and your how you what you think the speech is about, I think we got to the same place.
Did we? Good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, that was really lovely. For our audience out there, sometimes the direction from the director has to be reinterpreted by the actor to make it make sense. And and I really do believe in a healthy amount of this, as we're trying to figure out what's being said and what it means. I have a thought. That was really lovely. I want to Let's go back to the same place. Again, the repetition for me of words and of phrases, I think, is important. Shelby, you say, "Your Lord does know my mind. I cannot love him," right? And I want to see if you can actually. There's a period there in the middle of the verse line, but if you can actually push through it, have the change of thought, but push through it, and then take the breath at the end of the verse line.
Mm-hmm.
So that then there's a shift in thought and in how you actually feel about Orsino. I wonder if there's a moment of pity. I cannot love him, right? Yet, because the yet is like the little switch of thought. Okay. And then you repeat that again in the second to the last line. And in dimension and the shape of nature, a gracious person, but yet I cannot love him. Push through the period, have the change of thought, but push through the period until the end of the verse line, and then you breathe again for that final line. He might have took his answer long ago, and we would have avoided all this. I think is the afterthought, right?
The beautiful thing that I heard this time is that it was the first time she was being straight with me.
Yes.
And it's like, oh God, oh, this is actually a woman that I identify with because she's and she's perfectly reasonable. Of course, she doesn't love him. The way he talks to her is not anything I recognize as love either.
Yes, absolutely correct. And I think what we also see is from Olivia, a sense of empathy. I guess is a better word than pity for Orsino.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking for those where you push to the line and breathe at the end of the verse line, Shelby. Angie, and actually Miranda also, is the pronunciation of, is it Halu?
Different text, but yes, halu is usually
halu.
what I hear. Yeah.
What did I say? I don't even remember.
Hallow, I think, or hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Halu.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay.
Halu. Yeah.
Halu. Yes, it's spelled that way. Yes.
And if I could just quickly follow what you were saying, Edgar, it's empathy, it's compassion. She has compassion maybe rather than pity. Just a thought.
Yes, and I think it allows us to see this other side of Olivia. So she's not just like, ah, fuck, I hate Orsino, I don't love him. We see this switch, which I think is really beautiful. That there is a moment of empathy for Orsino, right? Angie, if if we go with halloo your name to the reverberate hills,
Yeah.
then it allows you, I loved how you play the speech. I'm wondering if you can then allow yourself to also play with the vowels in to cry
Sure.
out Olivia and
Long.
write into the O rather than putting the pause before the O.
Okay.
Yeah. And that O, I think there's also the subtext of us when we hear the O, the sexual O, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
there's another thing that allows Olivia to go, oh my God, right?
cool.
Can we try that?
Yeah.
Let's go from the same place, please. How does he love me?
How does he love me?
With adorations, fertile tears, with groans that thunder love, with sighs of fire.
Your Lord does know my mind. I cannot love him. Yet I suppose him virtuous, know him noble, of great estate, of fresh and stainless youth, in voices well divulged, free, learned, and valiant, and in dimension and the shape of nature a gracious person, but yet I cannot love him. He might have took his answer long ago.
If I did love you in my master's flame, with such suffering, such a deadly life, in your denial, I would find no sense. I would not understand it.
Why? What would you?
Huh. Make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house. Write loyal cantons of contemned love and sing them even in the dead of night. Halloo your name to the reverberate hills and make the babbling gossip of the air cry out, Olivia. Oh, you should not rest between the elements of air and earth, but you should pity me.
You might do much. What is your parentage?
Above my fortunes. Yet my state as well. I am a gentleman.
Get you to your lord. I cannot love him. Let him send no more. Unless, perchance, you come to me again to tell me how he takes it. Fare you well. I thank you for your pains. Spend this for me.
I am no feed post, lady. Keep your purse.
Great, let's hold there. Terrific. How was that?
That was interesting. Now, at that time, I thought maybe I should. I mean, I stopped myself. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe that. Oh, you should not.
Yeah, you want to try it again? Do you want to
Be in
just
the
put in
same
the Make Me a
vein.
Willow cabin?
Yeah.
I think there is something I really think that verse line endings can be really, really useful as a tool. I'm not like, like married to them, but sometimes I think they can be really useful. I would suggest that you take your breath at the end of the verse lines. Halloo your name to the reverberate hills, breathe, and make the
Okay.
babbling gossip of the air, breathe. Cry out,
Okay.
Olivia, oh, you should not rest, breathe, right? And that breath is really like a little jumping off platform
Yeah.
rather than a full stop. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Do you want to give her the cue in from what would you?
Sure.
You know where we are, Anne?
Mm-hmm.
Why? What would you?
Make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house. Write loyal cantons of contemned love and sing them loud, even in the dead of night. Halloo your name to the reverberate hills, and make the babbling gossip of the air cry out, Olivia. Oh, you should not rest between the elements of air and earth, but you should pity me.
You might do much.
Great, great, great. Yeah, yeah. I did that feel any different to you, taking that breath at the end of the verse line?
Yeah, no, it's useful. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think what it does, it starts to even now, even in this, I started to hear the build from one thing to the next, right? And it becomes really exciting so that when we get to the cry out, Olivia, oh, you should not rest. Uh, it's like an earthquake, and I think that's what Olivia receives.
What I'm doing now that I don't like is that I'm trying to work the O of Olivia
Yes,
to the point where the sincerity of it is gone. So, in eventually I would get there maybe.
yes, and no, you're right. Yeah, and I think yes, it is. There is because I've encountered this the buy-in from the actor on the really playing the depth and the vowels and the depth of emotion in that to cry out Olivia and really using the vowels. It takes a bit to get there. So, but
Yeah,
what you'd already started to do is really lovely, I think.
cool.
I have
Um,
two questions,
yeah,
if we have a moment.
yeah, go for it.
Um, for Cry Out Olivia, because Orsino and Olivia's names both start with O,
Hmm.
and this idea that Viola is saying
Oh,
is saying, here's what I would do if I was in love, because she is in love. Is there something to be mined there that she was about to cry out
that's a great idea.
Orsino?
Orsino. I was actually gonna
Great
ask you
idea.
theater professionals that because I've seen productions or where
Hmm.
she sort of starts to say Orsino and then catches herself Olivia, or then scenes where for productions where she stops herself and says with pain Olivia, because
Hmm.
she's knowing what her status is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
I was
a
wondering
great
what you all
idea.
thought. Mm.
I think there's value in, I think, yes, I think there's all those choices are at our disposal. I
Hmm.
think, and then the process is, again, for our YouTube audience, is deciding what choice we're gonna go with that fits in the overall this version of 12th Night at this particular
Hmm.
moment in time, right?
Yeah.
Um, I love that idea. I've never seen it. I also really love the
Really?
pushing through it into the sense of the orgasm,
Well, you
right?
kind
And
Yeah,
of have to stop to have that
thinking
thought.
about, yeah,
Cry out, oh, Olivia.
yeah.
yes. Oh. And
What
and
was
I've,
what was your other question,
It's a
Shelby?
great
I
idea.
just wondered, to just talk about the phrase willow cabin, just some of the imagery in this.
Hmm.
Wondered if there's anything. I know the definitions of willow cabin and cantons, but I just wondered if there's anything about that more to be mined.
Yeah, Miranda.
Yeah, well, the Riverside reminds us that willow was the symbol of unrequited love. So,
Hmm.
Mhm.
that's certainly there. Um, and the cantons, the songs of contemned love. It's very lofty language. It's
Yes.
beautiful
Mhm.
language, but it's very lofty, very poetic. Um, my graduate work degree is in Renaissance studies, and I did a lot of work with Dante and the Dolce Stil Nuovo and the whole Petrarch, the whole concept of courtly love, and that can be distant, which makes it less effective. But there's something. I mean, here's Shakespeare's genius. Here's this lofty, beautiful language, and yet the emotion is still so palpable. It's so present. Um,
Yeah, and the other thing that's so I think I mean this play I think is almost a perfect play. Um, there is in this the Willow Cabin speech, there are so many beautiful vowels, right? That you can't. I don't think you can play the entire speech by playing all the vowels, but as an experiment and rehearsal, really leaning into the O of the Willow Cabin, right? Call upon soul. Loyal, cantons, right? Contemnant, all those deep vowels, I think really allow us to maybe find the depth of what of where Cesario goes with the speech and why Olivia falls in love with him, right? To the point of asking this question of what is your parentage, right? Which I think is a funny question.
Yeah, I mean it's her checking him out for marriage. I mean,
Yes,
are
yes.
you one of me? This is yeah.
Yes,
And
but what's funny is that you then double what's the word you second guess yourself when she leaves, and you say, "What is your parentage?" Like, why did I ask that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, this round with Anne, it felt like I was trying to cut the sexual tension. And so I was
Yes,
like, "So where are you from?
yeah.
Where'd you grow up?" Well, because she does so quickly afterwards. And Anne played it so beautifully of like, from Omaha. Why does that matter? And then I'm like, "You're right. Leave. I'm a little flustered, because she does it's not necessarily let
I,
me check you out further and keep the interview going. It's I'm going to ask you one question, and the next time I talk, it's like head out. You have to leave.
let's try the other version, which is where you don't try to correct yourself. You just lean into you might do as much. What is your parent like? Really lean into that, and
Sure.
it forces Cesario to maybe to change it because then you catch it because you say later in the ring speech, Cesario, that she did look at you with starts distractedly, right?
Mhm.
And this is a moment where we can see that she's looking at you with starts distractedly, that she's
Mm,
right. And so you're the one who
Yeah.
changes the subject in a way. Does that make sense?
mm,
Can
mm.
we try that?
Yeah. From where?
From why would you? So right again, the Willow Cabin and an opportunity to play with the vowels once again, whenever you're ready.
Why? What would you?
Make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house. Write loyal cantons of contemned love and sing them loud, even in the dead of night. Halloo your name to the reverberate hills, and make the babbling gossip of the air cry out, oh, Olivia. No, you should not rest between the elements of earth and air, but you should pity me.
You might do much. What is your parentage?
Uh, Above my fortune, yet my state as well. I'm a gentleman.
Get you to your
Good.
lord.
Ask her again. You might do much, and this time allow yourself to be turned on by this entire speech when you ask her when you say you might do much.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to just go from there, or you
Yes,
want?
yes, please,
Sure.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, you should not rest between the elements of air and earth, but you should pity me.
You would do much. What is your parentage?
Above my fortune,
Mm.
but my state as well. I am a gentleman.
Get you to your lord. I cannot love him. Let him sin no more. Unless perchance.
Can you make it a big change? Unless
Okay.
he starts to walk away, Cesario starts to walk away.
Mm. Get you to your lord. I cannot love him. Let him send no more. Unless perchance you come to me again to tell me how he takes it. Fare you well. I thank you for your pains. Spend this for me.
I am no feed post, lady. Keep your purse. My master, none myself, lacks recompense. Love make his heart of flint that you shall love, and let your fervor, like my master's, be placed in contempt. Farewell, fair cruelty.
What is your parentage? Above my fortunes and my estate as well. I'm a
That's all.
gentleman.
That's all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, I, I really find it interesting when you allow yourself to be turned on by
Mhm.
the speech, and it's Cesario who has to kind of switch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was lovely. There's something, again, there's something magical about when we look at a piece of text and as an experiment, we can just play with the vowels and really lean into
Mhm.
those vowels. I think it starts to shift it. And I really got the sense of that once again, Angie, as you really played with those vowels in that Willow
Yeah,
Cabin
yeah,
speech. And
yeah.
then
Was useful. Yeah.
yeah, the build, there's a really nice build that starts to happen. I find that really interesting. And again, it allows Cesario to fall in love with you. I mean, not Cesario, Olivia to fall in love with you. Cool.
Mhm.
Um, to answer your question, Shelby, definitely at this point you kind of make the jump, you
Yeah.
know, um, in in, uh, in you're like you're done, you're cooked by this point.
Yeah.
This speech is like, oh my God, right?
Yeah.
This is what I've been looking for.
And
Um,
can you talk more about the facade of Olivia's grief?
yeah, I've again, we do these plays because we all have a different approach, or we have something we're going to emphasize in a particular production, or whatever the case might be. I'm really interested that she's been in mourning for a year. That's a long time to be in mourning, right? I think, and that obviously there are reasons why have chosen not to accept any suitors in the company of men, right? As the text says. But when someone comes along that's actually interesting, you're ready to like throw it out the window, right? Um, and so I imagine it's more of a facade and a sense of protection
Mhm.
from the likes of Ague Cheek and other suitors that are coming around, right? But I just wonder if with her girls, if she's kind of, having a good time, and I think we get a sense of that. For me, that the text maybe allows us to have that when, Cesario says, the thing about scorning him, because
Mm.
you and the girls are having a good time at his expense. So I don't think it's just dour grief. I think you have a good time. And to me, that allows it to be a facade that we're just putting it on.
Yeah, I think my main question still is, Festi also challenges her.
Hmm.
And so just what the difference is it just the look of Cesario? And then we know that Cesario is a woman. And is that something about Olivia, even though she falls for the male version of the twins later, unbeknownst? I just wonder, it's not that she doesn't have anyone around her challenging her. I just wonder
Right.
why this one is different than Festi, really.
Yes. So I'm going to throw this over to Miranda a little bit.
Yeah.
The Festi is a fool, and the fool, if I'm correct, Miranda, has a very specific role in Shakespeare. I don't think it's the fool is necessarily someone who is a viable suitor, or
Oh,
but
no.
it's someone who can,
Yeah.
flip the station in life, and call out authority. So there is no
Yes.
chance that you can actually like him.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
keep
Yeah.
thinking of is everybody familiar with The Bear, Chekhov's one act,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
where someone is using their mourning as a device?
that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything about the fool role?
Just agreeing with you that the fool, particularly these later fools in Shakespeare's works, are they speak the truth. And I always think about Goneril's phrase to Lear, "This you're all licensed fool," and of course there's much more tension there. But the Feste does have a sort of license, to say these things to Olivia, though initially she's take away the fool. Um, uh, so so he's unique, I think, and he's also unique in that he, as we were saying earlier, in that he goes back and forth between
Yeah.
the worlds. And I believe that he's clearly seen through Cesario's disguise, that that interchange they have at a certain point. He knows
Yes.
perfectly well, that this is not a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So did that answer your question, Shelby?
Yeah, maybe it's even more of a casting question, or just to attend to that, to make it clear that uh that Feste isn't a suitor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because I like that she's challenged elsewhere, that
Mhm.
Olivia's challenged elsewhere, but
Mm-hmm.
that in itself, the person standing up to the mean girl isn't enough
Yeah.
to move
I will,
her. So there has to be something different about this guy girl.
and I think
Yeah.
this kind of alludes to the idea of how we perceive these plays as a modern contemporary audience, and how Elizabethans would have perceived. We hear Festi referred to as the fool often, and Shakespeare's audience would have understood what that role meant and his relationship to those above him, right? And
Mhm.
so I don't imagine that they would have ever thought that he was a viable option for
Mhm.
Olivia, right?
Mm-hmm.
A modern audience maybe doesn't have an understanding of the
Right.
role of the fool. So yes, we have to help them with visual signifiers, or whether that's casting or other signifiers, to really understand why he's not a viable suitor, I think, right?
Would you put him in the fun uncle place, or do you think Feste is Olivia's same age? I don't know.
Well, he was a fool in which the Lady Olivia's father took great delight in.
True.
That's the
So maybe
line
a
that comes up
father.
later. A father figure. I really like what the 1996 movie directed by Trevor Nunn with Ben
Mm,
Kingsley as Feste, and he's she at one point she's been scolding him, but then she just comes to him weeping, and he embraces her. So he's made. I think you're onto something with the fun uncle, or he's sort of part of the family, but not literally of it.
yeah.
But he is a source of comfort to her,
Mm.
and of course that's what Malvolio finds so despicable and threatening. I think, yeah.
And maybe
Mm-hmm.
that comfort is there and is something that when someone does, oh, sorry.
No, isn't it funny when it does that? Yeah.
It's so funny. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe she's already used to and appreciates that comfort and that honesty towards her. And maybe that's how her father was with her as well, and or
You
brother,
wonder. You
right?
wonder.
And
Mm-hmm.
then Cesario, yeah, that really makes a lot of sense to me, that there would be something similar that she could recognize. So it's not so
Mm-hmm.
out of left field of, oh, a hot a hot boy, I'm in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because grief is quite varied, and it does
Yes.
go through, you do have that year of firsts, and that she
Yeah.
had two. Was it at the same time? Do we know about dad and brother in that timeline?
I think the father has died first and then the
Mhm.
brother, which of course mirrors what's happened to Viola.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
I
Mhm.
think Miranda, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he dies like a month after father. I think it is that in the
Is it
text?
that close?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're right about that. Yeah, it is after, but not by much.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
I once saw Feste played by a dear friend, Harry Groner. I don't know if any of you know
yeah.
his work.
Hmm.
And when he did it, Feste, it was almost as though Feste were going to disappear from her life. There was a kind of
Hmm.
wonderful a kind of, oh my God, I'm tired of this job. I'm still
Hmm.
doing it because I have to. But so there was it was almost as though he was going to fade from her life.
Mm.
Just like, so anyway, it was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was just beautiful.
Mm.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
thank you. I've always wondered that. It's so nice to be able to talk to a panel of devotees. This is great.
Um,
Yeah.
I would like to stop here. I know we didn't get to the second
Mhm.
scene,
Mm.
but we'll get to it in our second session, the
Hmm.
second Olivia Viola scene. Any final thoughts before we end? Right.
There's Nathan.
Yes, he
Hey,
is.
it is Nathan.
Yeah, I'll just say the final thing is again, this is the discovery of this is part of the rehearsal process. Certainly the director has an idea. I hate the word vision, but the director has an idea of what world the play lives in and what's going to be emphasized. And then decisions are made based on that. But for me, what's wonderful is that sometimes I change my mind or I redirect my idea because of things that the actors bring to the table, suggestions, who they are, just their essence can shift an entire scene or an entire character or a moment. So I'm really interested in that. So thank you for bringing yourselves to this scene. It's really lovely. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
thank you for
Yeah.
bringing your playfulness and your grab bag of things. I felt like you just had all
Mm.
these toys for us to play with. Like that worked, so
Mm.
let's see about this. Let's see about that. And that's a really fun way to
Mm.
rehearse, which is to get to a certain end, like you
Yeah.
said, that vision,
Mm.
but just to see how many options we have.
Yeah, I really agree. It's been really fun to hear, different people say, "Oh, I never considered this," or "I never thought of that," or just again, great ideas coming from all corners of well, what if we try this, or what if we had, and that's a lot of fun. And the other thing I just really enjoy and it may sound odd, but when you hear two people that are like, I don't know if we're talking about the same thing, and so you have to kind of work that out,
Yeah, sure.
Mm.
and that's like it would be easy if we've it all rehearsed exactly what we were going to say, and well, this is what we're and but that's not reality. Is that you get in a room with other creatives and you're like, well, I thought it was this, well, I thought it was this, and so I think not only for us to have the experience, but for people to observe of like, yeah, it's not a straight line. Like we have to kind of well, what is it I'm really trying to say, and what is it you're saying, and ultimately get to something that works for everybody. There's one of our dramaturgs who says, it's I can tell you everything, that I know, but it's your took us up there, doing it. So it's got to be something you have to embrace. But no, I really enjoyed this first session. It was a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
like I said, I'm really learning a lot about the scene too.
Mm.
Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
great. Thank you guys all for your work today. Great to see everybody, and we will be back next week. And like I said, diving into the next scene, and probably maybe getting back to this one as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, folks.
Excellent. All
Great.
right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Nathan. Thanks,
Yep. Take care,
everyone.
Anon.
everybody.
Yes, Anon.